Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Cozy English Podcast. I'm your host, Melody.
And I'm Avery. It's great to be with you all again. Melody, let me start with a question for you and for our listeners. Do you ever feel nervous when you have to speak English on the phone?
Oh, absolutely. I think almost everyone does, even native speakers sometimes. There's something about not being able to see the other person that can be a little stressful.
Exactly. And if you're a language learner, that stress can be even higher. Well, if you feel that way, you are in the right place because today we're practicing useful English for phone calls.
That's right. We're going to give you the key phrases and confidence you need to handle phone calls like a pro. Avery, you mentioned not being able to see the person. Why do you think phone English is so particularly difficult?
Well, that's the biggest reason right there. So much of our communication is nonverbal. We use body language, facial expressions, and gestures to understand each other. On the phone, all of that is gone.
You're relying only on your ears, and sometimes the sound quality isn't perfect, which makes it even harder to understand pronunciation or new vocabulary.
Totally. But don't worry, the good news is that phone calls in English often follow a very predictable pattern. There are specific phrases that people use all the time. If you learn them, you'll be prepared for almost any situation.
That's our goal today. We'll start with some essential vocabulary, then we'll do a few role plays to hear the phrases in a real context, and finally, we'll have a practice section for you. Sound good?
Sounds perfect. Let's get started.
All right, let's dive into some vocabulary and useful phrases. We'll break it down step by step, from answering the phone to ending the call. Avery, what's the first thing we do?
We answer it. The simplest way is just hello. But in a business context, it's common to state your name or the company name. For example, hello, Avery speaking, or Global Tech, Avery speaking.
Right. Now, if you are the person making the call, you need to introduce yourself. The most common phrase is, hello, this is. So I would say, hello, this is Melody.
Exactly. You can also say, my name is Melody, but it's much more common on the phone. Informally with friends, you might hear people say, hi, it's Avery.
Okay, so you've introduced yourself. Now you need to ask to speak to someone. What's a polite way to do that?
The key word here is polite. You want to use phrases like, may I speak to, or could I speak with? For example, may I speak to Mr. Jones, please? It's much better than saying, I want to speak to Mr. Jones.
Definitely. A more informal way could be, is Sarah there? If you're calling a friend. So after you ask for someone, the person on the other end might not know who you are. They might ask,
Who's calling, please? This is a very standard and polite way to ask for the caller's name.
okay, so let's imagine the person they want is available. What do you say then?
You can say, one moment, please, or just a moment, or I'll put you through. That last one, I'll put you through, is very common in office settings. It means I will connect you.
That makes sense. But what if the person is not available? This happens all the time.
Right. You need to explain politely. You can say, I'm sorry, she's not available at the moment. Or you can give a reason, like, I'm afraid he's in a meeting, or she's not at her desk right now.
After you say that, it's very helpful to offer the next step. You can ask, can I take a message? Or would you like to leave a message?
Exactly. This moves the conversation forward. And we'll practice leaving a message in one of our role plays. But before that, let's talk about problems. What happens when you don't understand something?
This is maybe the most important part for language learners. Don't be afraid to say you don't understand. A simple and polite phrase is, could you repeat that, please?
Yes, or a more casual way is, sorry, I didn't catch that. The verb catch here means to hear or understand. It's very natural.
I use that one a lot. I didn't catch that. What if the problem is the phone connection itself?
You can say the connection is bad or the line is breaking up. This tells the other person why you're having trouble hearing them. You could also say you're breaking up.
Good one. And finally, if someone is speaking too quickly, you can ask, I'm sorry, could you speak a little more slowly, please? Most people will be very happy to slow down for you.
Absolutely. So those are our key phrases. I think hearing them in a conversation would be really helpful. Are you ready for our first role play, Melody?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Okay, for our first role play, let's keep it simple. This will be a casual call between friends. I'm going to call Melody to make plans. Listen for some of the informal phrases we talked about.
Sounds good. I'm waiting for your call. Let's imagine the phone is ringing now. Hello?
Hi, is Melody there?
Speaking. Who's this?
Hey, Melody, it's Avery. How's it going?
Oh, hey, Avery. I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. How are you?
I'm doing well. Hey, I was just calling to see if you were free for coffee sometime this week.
I love that. I'm pretty busy Monday and Tuesday, but how about Thursday afternoon?
Thursday works for me. Say around 2 o'clock at the Daily Grind.
Sounds like a plan. I'll see you then.
Awesome. Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye, Avery.
And scene? Okay, so that was a pretty straightforward, friendly call.
It was. Let's break it down. You started with, "Hi, is Melody there?" That's a great casual way to ask for someone. And instead of saying, "This is she," which is also correct, but a bit more formal, I said, "Speaking," which is very common and friendly.
Right, and when I introduced myself, I said, "It's Avery, not this is Avery." That's another small difference between informal and formal calls. The rest of the conversation was just a normal chat to make plans.
Now, let's try another version of a simple call, but this time, let's make it a little more formal, like calling a colleague at their office. I'll call you this time, Avery.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm a busy professional at my desk. Hello, Avery speaking.
Hi, Avery. This is Melody calling from the marketing department.
Hi, Melody. How can I help you?
I'm just calling about the report for the quarterly meeting. I was wondering if you'd had a chance to review my email.
Yes, I saw it this morning. It looks great. I just have a couple of minor comments which I'll send over to you this afternoon.
Perfect. That's great to hear. Thanks so much, Avery.
You're welcome. Talk to you soon.
Okay, bye. Okay, a different vibe there, more professional. You answered with Avery speaking, which is very common in a business setting.
Right, and you identified yourself not just by name, but also by your department. This is Melody calling from the marketing department. That gives me the context I need.
Exactly. The purpose of the call was stated clearly, and we ended it efficiently. So you can see the basic structure is the same, but the level of formality changes the specific words we choose.
I think that's a great demonstration. But what happens when things don't go so smoothly? What if the person isn't there?
Ah, yes, the next level of phone English, leaving a message. Let's tackle that in our second role play. All right, for our next role play, we're going to practice a very common scenario, leaving a message. This time, I'll be calling a company called Global Tech to speak with a Mr. Smith. Avery, you'll be the helpful receptionist.
Okay, I've got my receptionist voice ready. I'm here to help. Good morning, Global Tech. How may I help you?
Hello, may I speak to Mr. Smith, please?
Certainly. Who's calling, please?
This is Melody Johnson from Brightside Solutions.
Thank you, Miss Johnson. One moment, please. I'm very sorry, but Mr. Smith is in a meeting at the moment. He should be available in about an hour. Would you like to leave a message?
Oh, okay. Yes, please. Could you tell him that Melody Johnson called about the invoice we discussed last week? And could you ask him to call me back when he's free?
Of course. Does he have your number?
He should, but I'll leave it just in case. It's 555-1234.
Okay, so that's Melody Johnson regarding the invoice, and he should call you back at 555-1234. Is that all correct?
Yes, that's perfect.
Excellent. I will make sure Mr. Smith gets the message as soon as he's out of his meeting.
Thank you so much for your help. Goodbye.
You're welcome. Goodbye.
Okay, another great example. Let's talk about what happened there. Avery, you handled that very professionally.
Well, thank you. I started by explaining why Mr. Smith couldn't talk. He's in a meeting. And then I immediately offered a solution. Would you like to leave a message?
Right, and when I left the message, I tried to be very clear and concise. I included 3 important things: my full name, the reason for my call, and my phone number.
That's the perfect formula for a good message. Name, topic, and contact information. And notice what I did after you gave me the information. I repeated it all back to you.
Yes, that is such a critical step. So that's Melody Johnson, call you back at 555-1234. Is that correct? Confirming the information shows you were listening carefully and it prevents mistakes.
Absolutely. And it's something you can do too if you're the one leaving the message and the other person doesn't repeat it. You could say, "Would you mind reading that back to me just to be sure?"
That's a great tip. It's all about making sure the communication is clear. Now, speaking of clear communication, what happens when it's not so clear?
I think it's time for our final role play, the one everyone fears, a bad connection. All right, our final role play is about handling problems and misunderstandings. In this scenario, I'm calling a customer support line because my internet is down. The phone connection is going to be terrible. Melody, you're the patient and helpful support agent.
Okay, I'll do my best to stay calm and use our clarification phrases. Let's begin. Thank you for calling Skynet Support. My name is Melody. How can I assist you today?
Hi, I'm about my it's not working.
I'm very sorry, sir. The line is breaking up pretty badly. Could you please repeat that?
Yes, sorry about that. I said I'm calling about my internet connection. It's down.
Okay, thank you for clarifying. I can certainly help you with your internet connection. To get started, could I have your account number, please?
Of course. It's 6815.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that middle part. I heard 6 and then 815. Could you spell out the middle number for me, please?
Oh, sure. It's 6 Tango 0815. T as in tango.
Ah, okay, got it. 6T0815. Thank you for your patience. Let me just pull up your account now.
And that's the end of our stressful call. You can see how easily confusion can happen with a bad line.
Definitely. But the important thing is that we sorted it out. I used 2 key phrases there. First, the line is breaking up to explain the problem. Then I said, I'm sorry, I didn't catch that when I couldn't hear the number.
Right. And asking me to spell the number was a great strategy. Using words to clarify letters like T as in tango or B as in bravo is really common, especially in customer service. It removes all doubt.
Exactly. The main takeaway here is don't panic if you can't understand. Stay calm and use these phrases to ask for clarification. People are usually very willing to help.
I think those role plays were incredibly useful. Now I think it's time to let our listeners do the talking.
I agree. It's practice time. Okay, everyone, now it's your turn to practice. The best way to build confidence is to say these phrases out loud. We're going to say a phrase, and then we'll leave a few seconds of silence for you to repeat it. Ready?
Let's start with the very beginning of a call. Introduce yourself. Please say, "Hello, this is your name."
Excellent. Now you need to ask for someone. Let's ask for our friend Maria. Please say, may I speak to Maria, please?
Great. Now imagine you are answering the phone and need to put the person on hold. Please say, "Sure, one moment, please."
Perfect. Now a situation where the other person isn't available. Let's offer to take a message. Please say, I'm sorry, she's not here. Can I take a message?
Good. Now for a problem. You didn't hear what the person said. Please say, "I'm sorry, I didn't catch that."
And one more for a bad connection. Let's tell the person about the problem. Please say, I think the connection is bad. You're breaking up.
Fantastic work. Remember, you can come back to this part of the podcast anytime you want to practice your pronunciation and get more comfortable with these phrases.
That's right. The more you say them, the more natural they will feel.
Well, that brings us to the end of another episode. We covered a lot of ground today, from basic greetings to handling tricky situations on the phone.
We really hope you feel more prepared and less nervous about making your next call in English. Let's do a quick recap of the most important phrases. Remember to introduce yourself with, hello, this is...
And to politely ask for someone, use "May I speak to?" or "Could I speak with?"
If you need to leave a message, use Can I leave a message? And if you don't understand, don't be afraid to say, Could you repeat that? Or I didn't catch that.
Now for our challenge for you this week. We want you to try using just one of these phone phrases in a real situation. You could call a local cafe to ask about their hours, or book a table at a restaurant. A small, simple call is a great way to start.
That's a fantastic idea. Practice is the key. And we would love to hear from you all. Please leave a comment under this episode and tell us, do you feel nervous when you have to speak English on the phone? What's the most difficult part for you?
Yes, share your experiences with us. And as always, if you found this episode helpful, please consider subscribing and sharing it with a friend who is also learning English. It helps our community grow.
Thank you all so much for listening to the Cozy English Podcast. Keep practicing, and we'll talk to you next time.
Bye for now.
Bye, everyone.